All right, what is up, my beautiful people? So, my intention for this video is to express something that has been going on in my life. It's something that has been happening for some time, and my intuition told me to make this video. So, it's probably for someone that's going to watch this. Now, if you're new here or you're new to me, I'm going to say some things that probably may or may not be relevant to you, but if you know me from my past, then yeah, this video is definitely for you. I came to the beach today to express. I think like this is a really good place to let it off the chest and try to do my best to articulate as transparent and from my heart as possible. Something that you may or may not know if you've experienced an awakening or a higher understanding in self or a raise in your consciousness is that in the process, when you're becoming a butterfly, it's hard to communicate that. Let's say this, give you an example. You've been a caterpillar your entire existence. All you've known is caterpillar life. All you've known is the ground that you walk on, and all of a sudden you get tired and sleepy, and then you start making this cocoon, and you're like, okay, fine, I need to go to rest, which is what I've been doing in the float tank and in my meditation. And you come out and you got wings now, and you have no idea how to use them. You have no idea how to communicate, and every time you try to use them or talk to other caterpillars, you're like, well, no, you can fly. You can fly. And they're like, no, you're on the ground. And I'm like, well, no, you see, I was on the ground, but now I'm flying. And I didn't have the language to articulate that before. I didn't have the language. So this is why I've stopped communication with people from my past. Now, I'm just going to give you a quick context if you're new here. So basically, for the last 7 years, I've been on a path to making the best version of myself, so to speak. And in that process, I've raised my awareness to way different heights than what I was. I was addicted to alcohol, had bad problems with alcohol, I was addicted to having sex with women, I had cocaine issues when I did cocaine, and my whole life surrounded by escapism in there and through drugs and alcohol and women. So 6 years ago I changed my life and decided like, all right, I want something different, otherwise I'm gonna leave this place. Through that process, that I've done an absolute horrible job at communicating. I don't know why, and if you're watching this and you are in the same place, please drop a comment below. I'd love to talk to you about this, but I don't know why. I didn't have a mentor guiding me through this. Take this in. I got sober not through AA. I had no help in AA, and I don't know why I didn't do it. I do know why. I went to one session and everyone seemed super negative, so I didn't want to be there. I'm like, I'm trying to change my life here. I'm not trying to be like look at life as like a negative, because that's what I've been doing for the last year and a half, and it's making me want to go to suicide. So I don't want to be negative anymore. But in that process, I didn't have a guide. I didn't have anyone to talk to. And that's why my drive is what it is because I'm that guy now. I'm that guy that if you are in that place of yourself, I want to help you. I want to help you in that place of yourself because I know how challenging it is. Take this in. To lose your entire friend group. I'm not just talking one person. I'm talking your entire friend group. Imagine this, every childhood friend, every high school friend, every friend that you're developing in your early 20s to mid 20s, every friend that is after that, even at the beginning of me getting sober. Now, I haven't even gotten to mention my family. That's a whole nother level. Now, I understand that it is in me. I take full responsibility. This is why I've stopped communication, because I don't know how to communicate what's inside of me unless I have a chance like this where I can speak the whole way through. Now, if I'm speaking to you right now, couple things may happen when you're hearing this about me. You first may have empathy for me. You may be like, wow, that sounds like a lot that you've been through. Man, I mean, I didn't really think of it this way. Man, sorry, dude. Like, I didn't know that all that was going on. You may be totally disregard this and be like, you don't even care about what I'm saying right now. Or you may be triggered. You may be one of the people that are triggered by my lack of communication to you. Now, it has nothing to do with who you are at your essence. With my family, it has nothing to do with who they are at their essence. I'm just not at a place where I can articulate myself that well in the butterfly process. And I don't have a guide. I don't have someone guiding me. And it's not out of lack of trying here, you know? Take this in. I've traveled 10 times around the world. I've lived in a bunch of different places. I've read countless books. I've probably spent now 2,500 hours in a float tank. I meditate every morning, so I am watching myself, and I don't have the ability to connect with people from my past right now, or my family. I'm just barely working on the communication with my mom and my brother. And bear in mind, take this in, bless their hearts, but I'm sitting there on a conversation and I don't really get to share much about what's going on with me. You know, I'm standing here on this beach right now. You probably may look at me and I'm standing on this beach and you're probably thinking, wow, if I was there in Bali right now, I'd have no problems, no anxieties, everything would just go away. But you know that for 2 years I've not been in there. I've lived in this place. I love surfing and I've not gone in there. I've been in deep pain here. One of my things, I love people. I love people. I love my family. I love my friends. But what I do love more than that is the development of raising myself and developing my peace. Now, I'm going to bring in a caveat to this. You're probably asking yourself, okay, well, if you're so peaceful, Mr. Peaceful Guy, then why can't you get on the conversations? If you're so spiritual, why can't you speak with your family? Well, it's a really good point, and I honor that. And thankfully, I sit in myself to dissolve my ego. I'll be the first one to admit I am not a spiritual person. I'm in no near of a spirituality. I am not a spiritual person. And I can surrender that because I cannot talk to my family. And when I talk to my dad, I call him my spiritual teacher. He's the guy that shows me where I am in my spirituality, where I am in my peace. My mom, my brother, they show me where I'm actually at. So great, I've gone to these great heights. I've meditated in the tank and all this stuff, but I can't even have a conversation with my family. And that's the first thing I know. I'm not a spiritual person, because if I had some depth to myself, I'd be able to articulate myself. I'd be able to be calm. I'd be able to bring my love and my acceptance. But you know something? It pains me that I hurt people when I talk. It pains me. It kills me. And so the solution I found up until this point, because I've had no guidance in this form, and believe me, I've traveled around the world and tried to talk to a lot of people about this. You know what I get when I hear from people that get sober? A lot of them, they go, oh yeah, like my friends supported me. Oh yeah, my family supported me. Or like, for example, my mom, she got sober, she spent $8,000 on a rehab. My cousin, same thing. But they had you know, in that place, they got like a team of people showing you, giving you foundations, coaching you. You're with a group of people that all are going through something similar. I navigated all this on my own and still am. I don't have support. I tell you this right now. Although I'm speaking to my family, and maybe if you're watching this, you maybe are one of my family members and you're hearing me out for the first time, but I don't feel supported. I don't got support. When I get on a conversation, a lot of the times I don't share what's actually going on with me out of the fact that when I share, it triggers people. I have this gift to see truth, whatever kind of truth that is. Maybe that's subjective, but it's my truth. And it's I see, and this is why I care so much about people, is because I can see what their potential is. I can see where they could be, and that's why I don't treat them for who they are today. I treat them for who they could be, because I need that. if you look at who I am in my forms of communication, then I'm much more than that. I got much more than that. I just haven't found the words to articulate. So I found, stop communicating with my family and people from my past has been the only solution. Now, if you've watched this far, listened to this far, I thank you for hearing me out. I really appreciate it. There's one more point to this. I've tried it once. I've tried it twice with two people. Maybe you're one of the persons watching this right now. But what tends to happen, man, I'm telling you, and I'm trying to say this as humble as possible, but I'm growing at a quantum rate. Like, this is one of the things that my network here is telling me when I'm doing all the internet stuff. They're going, how are you? You're the fastest learner that I've ever met. This is what my one of my business partners is telling me right now. Another person, I can't believe how fast you can learn. Well, yeah, because I've been doing this for the last 7 years. I've been developing a coachable personality. I've been developing in my mind, in the flow tank, in meditations, the ability to learn quickly. So what happens with our mind, and this is something that I'd love to talk more about, and if you're interested, let me know and I'll make a video on this. But if you understand how the mind works, you understand how subconscious mind works, this becomes very, very powerful, and this is a massive tool. It's a massive tool in life if you understand how the subconscious mind works and how our mind works and the neurochemistry in our mind. But what happens to me, generally speaking, and do you ever ask yourself, like, if you're watching this and you know me, why do I move to so many places? It's because what happens is people get stuck with the current identity that I'm at. But I'm forever moving, changing at a rapid pace. So a common thread that happens when I meet people is, generally speaking, because I'm after growth, I seek out people that are 10 times, 20 times, 30 times better at something than I am. And I show up, and I kid you not, I was just talking to a guy today on the phone. I didn't know where the message button was on LinkedIn. I had to get him. Here's this master at LinkedIn, a master at Facebook ads, a master at the online world. And I'm here getting coached by him, and I'm saying, look, man, like where do you send a message on this thing? How do you make a comment? Now, I'm like consulting. I'm doing like consultative work when I didn't know where the message button is. That's just an example. But what happens with people's subconscious minds is they remember you from where you were. So if you're watching this, the last time we spoke, you probably only knew me as Muzzy. But maybe you're in the next evolution, you know me as Matt. But you know what? Now I'm introducing myself. I had a huge block on saying Matthew. I didn't introduce myself as Matthew. And because I couldn't introduce myself as Matthew, people here forget my name. And I was saying Matt, and the Indonesians don't know, but I'm starting to use the word Matthew and being okay with that. Like I let that out, and now I'm okay with it. You may not think this is a big deal, but this is the stuff I'm working with. So what I found has happened is when I get on the phone with people in my past, be it my family, now there's an exception. Right now, I'm working very diligently to give the space to my mom and my brother. That's the exception that I'm giving to this, because we've been through hell and back. So they've been with me since day one, so I gotta give them that space. I stopped talking to them for over 1.5 years, but I'm doing the best I can and being as patient. But you understand something. When I get on the phone with people from my past, it requires a lot of capacity. It requires me to be razor sharp. I have to be very diligent. I'm constantly walking on eggshells to not make the person triggered. Because what happens is, what I found, and I could be in my block right now. Remember this, I'm honestly open. I told you at the beginning of this, I don't have guidance. I'm trying to understand it. That's why I'm heading to the tank all the time. That's why I'm sitting in meditation. That's why I'm trying to read books to find, and hours upon hours upon hours listening to audios to try to understand this. And I genuinely believe a shift's coming. I do. I do that. I think a lot of things are going to change for me. But what happens when I get on the phone with people from my past is, A, they bring me back to where I was. And that makes sense. We haven't talked in a while, but you know what happens is they want me back there because that's where they are. And so because I have a social acuity, I can feel you on the phone. The moment we pick up, I'm not listening to your words. I feel your energy through the phone. That may be crazy for you to understand, but I can feel you. I listen for your breath. I listen to the intonations of your, or inclinations, whatever that word is, of your tone. I hear the spacing between. Plus, I tune into your energy. Words are energy and motion. So I'm like so aware of you as we're on the phone. Maybe you are of me. Great. I would love that. Help me out. Any suggestions you got, leave them below. I'm open. I'm not here saying I'm not open to anything. But what happens is your subconscious mind brings me back to where I was. And I'm not there anymore. And I found repeatedly. Now, bear in mind, I've tested this over the last 5 years, right? Which is where I came to the point where I'm like, I got to cut communication off, because every time I get in the phone with someone from my past, be it my family or my friends, I get held back. Now, there's been one person through this journey that's been able to accept me, but he met me at age 28. So imagine if you met me at 28. That's like, I'm still quite a bit different than I was at 28, but there are some similarities. But if you met me at 25, I am worlds different. If you met me at 22, I am worlds different. If you met me at 15, I'm worlds different. Bear in mind, my mom can't even accept me for who I am today. Now again, I always come back to this because I know that I'm creating a shadow, right? Right behind me is my own shadow, right? You see that? I'm aware in my expression that I don't have it all figured out. That's why I told you I'm not a spiritual person. I'm just not. I do my best to be. I'm doing everything I can. I'm literally doing all the work that I can possibly do, that I possibly know with what I know today. And I understand that tomorrow there's going to be a bit more that I'll be able to see in my shadow. But this is why I haven't talked to people from my past or my family. And if you've listened to this point, I thank you. Thank you for hearing me out. It's clear that it's an emotional topic for me. If you're new here and you're listening this long, there's a part of me that I haven't shared and I felt compelled to share today. I want you to know this. Whoever is listening to this and maybe being affected by my lack of communication to you, I care about you. I love you. You know, from the moment we met, I've wanted nothing but the best from you. I do. If I've seen all this positive results in myself, why wouldn't I want that for others? I wrote on the top of my van, the irony of this is happiness is only real when shared. Because I love sharing this. This is some of the biggest gifts we can give in the world. But what has to happen is an acceptance from your subconscious mind. Because if not, I let you down and we talk and I bring myself back to where I was. And right now, I've got to be diligent. You got to understand something. I've been in survival mode here for the last 2 years. You may see me in these nice places, around these nice people, around smart people, but for me, my bank accounts hit low 4 times here. And I've been in survival mode, man. Like, I'm not in, although I'm here, I'm making this work. It's not figured out yet, by no means, and that's why I want to create this transparency. So, thank you for listening, and drop a comment below what resonated with you, what triggered you, what you can relate to, what you can't, and I'm open to listening and I'm open to growing. So with that, I share what peace I have in all of this, and I share my love, because I definitely have love, definitely, throughout all this. The undercurrent is love, but I'm learning the peace in all of this, and it's a process. So have a wonderful day and take care.